strong mind, warm heart leaders would begin to take on the philosophy and execute on the philosophy of how do we evolve our workforce, not just cut or axe them. And so that becomes a really important question for all of us, for all leaders, not just people in the AI industry at this time, but all leaders are affected by this. How do we, every person, how do we evolve our workforce, our workers, our people when AI is coming in, like a train?
Welcome back to Neuroconversant Leadership, where we talk about effective leadership and communication, especially in the STEM workplace or any place that neurodivergence happens, which is everywhere. Today, we have a guest, Kae Wagner, that I'm very excited to talk about. Kae, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm so delighted to be here. We have so much to cover.
So much. We're going to have to be efficient about this.
Okay.
Kae, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do?
Okay. So I'm Kae Wagner. I do a lot of things. I work with executives and I help them understand communications, and I help them understand how communications are so critical to high performing teams, to their own performance, to just about everything there is. So, next to money, like communications is the next thing, the next and most important thing. I'm also a best-selling author. I write in nonfiction and fiction. I write about business and leadership. And in fiction, I write coming of age. I write modern fiction, romantic suspense, and sweet romance. And I am working on a piece right now about why every CEO, why every executive should read a romance novel. So how about that?
Oh, that's fun. You can write a novel about why you should read novels.
Yes, exactly.
How much does what you write about in your nonfiction inform what you write about in your fiction?
That's a really interesting question. I would say that nonfiction and fiction, there's a confluence in the concepts, right? So I draw on my work as an owner and a founder and an entrepreneur, and then also as a consultant with people. And I also weave that into fiction. I also weave fiction into nonfiction. So, for example, this was a book that I just recently co-wrote, Crash and Burn Learn, with a CEO who was backed by private equity on an acquisition spree. And he crashed because blind ambition, moving too fast. So those kinds of stories, I love to tell CEO stories, executive stories. And I think that they're so much more impactful when they're told in story form, because story form goes back to like caveman days, right?
Stories are so much more memorable, so much more powerful, and there's so much science behind why that works.
Yes. And actually, leaders would be so much better at communication if they use storytelling in their communications.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I might have to have you back so that we can talk more about storytelling, because today I want to talk about positive intelligence
Yes.
and have you walk through that for us.
Yes. So positive intelligence is a body of work that was developed by Shirzad Shamin. He wrote a book, Positive Intelligence, title of the book. The construct of positive intelligence is this. We have saboteurs in our heads that are constructed when we are children as a way of dealing with and navigating our world as kids. These saboteurs are developed. We develop them subconsciously as a way of dealing with the world, but we develop them because there are three questions that every child asks themselves subconsciously. And that is, am I loved? How do I get attention around here? And am I safe? And that safety is psychological and physical safety, right? So we construct these saboteurs and then they become like really part of our DNA, but we are not them. That's the important thing. This is about behavior. It's a behavioral assessment. And so we have unknowingly, subconsciously embraced this set of behaviors to keep ourselves loved, get attention, and be safe in our world as kids. When we grow up, they are like ingrained in our brain circuitry, and we don't even know it. And so it is in the awareness of, the knowing of, that we can begin to um, tamp down the saboteurs, because they are sabotaging our success and our happiness. We can learn to bring down the saboteur behavior, embrace the sage, and really begin to live the life that we want, which is one where we are content, where we are happy, where we have good relationships, where we have success in business, where we as leaders can align a team, where we can meet goals, exceed goals, where we can be successful.
These are all things that were useful as children to
Mhm.
help us get what we need, but they're no longer useful as adults. I'm the
Right.
youngest of 10 kids, so I developed many, many strategies that I've eventually had to learn to discard. So I'm interested in learning about what some of these saboteurs are and what their fun names are.
Yes. So Jeremy, what's really crazy is I'm number 8 out of 10.
That's that's a
So
fun coincidence.
so, like, this is crazy because I
Yeah,
never meet people who are, have similar backgrounds
yeah.
to
There's
to
not
me.
many of us.
Okay, so let's go through this. So everyone has the judge, and the judge is the kingpin of the saboteurs, and the judge is never happy with you. The judge will tell you that you are never good enough. No matter how successful you are, no matter how big your house is, how big your company is, how great your career is, you are never good enough. And not only that, you are not only good enough, but the judge judges other people. And then the third thing that the judge likes to mess with is your circumstances. The judge will tell you, you will be happy when you have more money. You will be happy when you have a better job. You will be happy when your company is more successful. You will be happy when your wife finally understands you. You will be happy when,
So happiness is always just out of reach.
just out of reach, just enough to keep you unhappy and keep you under the judge's thumb. Now, the judge has 9 accomplices, and the 9 accomplices create crazy town in your head because they are always telling you things, right? So, for example, one is called the avoider. Now, the avoider, true to its name, oh, let's deal with that tomorrow. Tomorrow, mañana, mañana, mañana. And the avoider grew out of childhood behavior where if you could just put things off, you didn't have to face heavy consequences. And so in this behavior, in this model, the behavior is always rewarded, and that's why it takes traction, gains traction in your personality, right? But it is not you. You can change this behavior. That's the good news, right? So the avoider is like the ostrich. It's all about, like, let's just make life happy. Like, can we deal with that little crisis tomorrow?
In the short term, that sounds fantastic.
Right. However, so another saboteur is the hyperachiever. Now, we are probably talking to a lot of hyperachievers and its cousin, the hyper rational. The hyperachiever is like, if I can get to the next milestone, then I'm going to be happy. If I can get to the next one, then I'm going to be happy. Never being happy with where the situation is right now, which also means that the hyperachiever has trouble being in the present moment. So the present moment for a hyperachiever is never cause for celebration because, my God, you've got so much more to do to achieve, right? Now, in your audience, my guess is that you have a lot of hyper rationals.
That was the number one on my results.
Yes, yes. So I am My first and second results are hyperachiever and hyper rational at the same level.
Oh,
So I've got a lot of crazy town going on here. So the hyper rational, we call the hyper rational Mr. Spock, right? Does that
yep,
fit?
that tracks.
Yeah. So the hyper rational believes deeply that emotions are just messy and we don't need them. Why not just think our way through this? Why not just be rational, calm, logical? We can just deal with this. So think about a kid who is in a situation where things are crazy, emotional, messy, upheaval. And the kid might think, if I can just think my way through this, not get tangled up in these emotions, then I'm going to be loved. That's how I'm going to get attention, by being really super smart. Now, you're 1 out of 10. I'm 1 out of 10. We're both hyper rationals. We were the smart kids, I bet.
Everyone in my family's smart. It's kind of scary.
Well, that's true in my family too. But, in our minds, I'll just speak for myself as a hyper rational. I knew I was not always the smartest person in the room, but I was in the top 3 for goodness sake, right? And the way that I approach problem is to look at them in a very rational manner. Now that is all very good and well in business and needed, right? And your people are in the STEM world, and of course you need that. However, what is the most important thing? What is the most important aspect in life and in business? People.
Relationships, yep.
Relationships. And so the hyper rational often has um, a vibe of, okay, I know you got feelings. That's great. Now, could we get back to the data, please?
Back to the real things.
Yeah, back to the things that count. Like take your messy emotions and go cry it out, and then come back when you're ready, right? So this has a tremendous impact on relationships, not only in business but also in life as in general.
When I talk about the Myers-Briggs quite often, and
Mhm.
when I'm talking about feelers versus thinkers
Uh-huh.
or kind of emotional versus logic, one of the things that people don't really realize is a lot of it has to do with decision making. And the logical people want the tangibly best solution. The emotionally driven or the feeling people want to make sure that their core values are being met in any decision.
Uh-huh.
Both people want the best thing. It's just their assumption about how to get to the best thing is so different.
Right.
And that one is, from the Myers Briggs. So that's innate. How much of what you're talking about for the hyper rational is innate and how much of it is learned?
A lot of it is learned, because what we are doing is we are answering these questions. How do am I loved? How do I get attention around here? That is one of the critical questions. How do I get attention around here? And when you look back in your childhood, hyper rational, hyper achiever, you see the things that you started to do to get attention. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean as children, we needed attention to thrive. We needed attention to survive. And so the hyper rational was the smart kid, the one who figured things out, the one who, was studious, the one who, could calm the ship when things were crazy, right? And so that became part of that person's identity. And that's a learned thing. Now, a lot of your audience will be thinking this, but that's gotten me to where I am right now. And I'm not giving that up. Right. And, and that is an important question. And it also speaks to the belief that you are either or. And what I believe with PQ and with the work that I do in strong mind, warm heart, it's that it's an and construct. And so we teach people how to be strong minds and have a warm heart. And that goes to the business of the business, which is the data channel, and then the work of the people, which is the PQ channel. And having both of them. So to your point about decision making, you need both channels for making decisions. And here's a really interesting thing. So we are in the era of AI and massive amount of layoffs. The hyper rational would say, sorry guys, in order for us to be able to move ahead and be profitable and to get to where we need to be, I'm going to axe, 30,000 people. Strong mind, warm heart leaders would begin to take on the philosophy and execute on the philosophy of how do we evolve our workforce, not just cut or axe them. And so that becomes a really important question for all of us, for all leaders, not just people in the AI industry at this time, but all leaders are affected by this. How do we, every person, how do we evolve our workforce, our workers, our people when AI is coming in, like a train and might end up being a train wreck? We don't know. So having PQ, understanding the saboteurs allows us to lessen the impact on them and begin to move into what's needed in today's world, which is this confluence of humans and AI. I talk about 2026 as the year of being human, which is not to be dismissive of AI in any manner, but it is to say, we as humans, how do we need to evolve personally and in our careers and as business owners and as leaders so that there is an evolution among humans that does not erase us because of AI.
Let's hope that everyone can make that work this year. I love it. So you've hit on the top two of my results,
Hmm.
and now I'm interested in what the rest of them are.
Okay. So do you know what number three is?
For me, I think avoider.
Avoider. Okay. So we talked about the avoider.
Yeah.
Let's just kick
Yep.
that can down the road and have a good time today, right?
Yep.
Party today, worry about it tomorrow. There are a couple of others that I want to touch on that are really, really significant in the workplace. One is the stickler. This is the perfectionist. This is the person who has to have every I dotted, T crossed before action can take place. This in the era of AI puts a drag on progress. And sticklers now have to lessen the impact of the stickler on themselves in their minds, as PQ teaches, in order to keep up with the fast pace of what's going on right now. If you are waiting to perfectly learn how to use AI and agents and everything else, goodbye. We're going to see you in the dust.
Because it changes every day, so you're never
I
quite going
know.
to be there.
I know.
One of my favorite sayings is, "If something's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly."
Mhm.
And it gets their attention because they're like, "What do you mean you can't do
Right.
things poorly?" I'm like, "If you're not willing to do it poorly, you're never going to get it done." Microsoft made billions of dollars getting things out before they were perfect,
That's
and it
right.
works.
That's right. Yeah. And, doing it poorly is not failure. Doing it poorly is learning
Yeah. As long as you do it poorly at first.
at first. That's
Yeah.
right. So you learn from that, right? We also, in addition to the stickler and the avoider, we have the victim. Now, the victim's nickname is the drama queen. Oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened to me. It's never my fault. It's always his or hers. These things that happen to me, I just, I can't deal with that kind of thing. And so we're just going to like put a bag over our head and shut down for a little while, right? The victim in the workplace is very difficult. Um, because of not taking ownership and not taking responsibility and accountability for what's going on, for placing the blame on outside sources and other people or other circumstances, other situations.
Mhm.
So the drama queen not only avoids responsibility, but imbues it with this emotion, right? And so you can imagine that the hyper rational and the victim are not best buddies.
Nope, that's a challenge.
They are not playing in the same room.
Not well.
No. We also have the pleaser. Now, the pleaser is such a pleasant person, wanting to have everyone be happy and working so hard to make sure that everyone else is happy and getting what they need to the extent that they give away everything. They give away all of their heart. They give away everything. And then that leads to resentment. And then the pleaser is not such a happy person anymore. And so the pleaser needs to learn that balance of being able to help other people, keep other people happy, okay, but not give away everything, their own inside ability to take care of themselves.
In a previous episode, I wish I could remember which one I had a guest on. Basically, her whole thing was boundaries
Yeah.
because so many people fall victim to just saying yes and not setting boundaries to what they're willing to give and willing to do and what they're willing to do to protect themselves. So I'm going to look that one up and I may put these two together.
Right, right. Yeah, so boundaries are really important. And when you begin to understand your saboteurs and how you're sabotaging yourself, you can set up boundaries that are aligned with your values and beliefs. So the pleaser will sometimes violate their own beliefs to please others, but that comes at a cost. I have a saying that the body never lies. And so the energy that you repress will find a way out.
Yep.
And each of these saboteurs has an energy that it's learned how to create. But at the same time, it's also learned how to suppress some things. And
Mhm.
as we age and as we get further and further along in our careers or as business owners, we just can't keep it all suppressed anymore. We just get tired of that. And in 2026, the year of the human, my urging for people is to step up and be fully human, all of your warts and your scars and all of that comes with you. Bring it all with you because we are holistic people. We don't walk into the workforce just a worker, just an owner, just a leader. We come in with that fight in our mind from last night and the other thing that that guy said to us yesterday that we haven't processed yet. And the way we make decisions, the way we process issues and crises come down to the PQ saboteurs.
I'm going to have some more questions. And in the interest of time, because I like to keep it to 30 minutes, can you very quickly go through the remaining saboteurs?
Yes. So I'm going to go from top to bottom alphabetically. We have the avoider. We have the controller. The controller wants to tightly control everything. Thank you very much.
Not great for delegation.
No, it's not delegation. When I tell you to sit down, I want you to sit down. That's the controller. The controller is so severe in his desire to control. And that comes from being out of control as a kid in an out of control situation. If I can control it, then I will be safe. We have the hyperachiever. We have the hyper rational. Here's one, the hyper vigilant. Something bad is going to happen. This is the hypervigilant is Chicken Little, the sky is falling, something I know that this will not work out. This new thing we're doing, it will never AI, this is never gonna work out. Oh my god, or worse yet, AI is gonna kill us all.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have the pleaser, we have the restless. The restless is the shiny object person. Oh, it's better over there, let's go get that shiny object.
Yeah.
We have the stickler and we have the victim. 9 saboteurs who are part of the judge's court. They are the ones who are in your head creating crazy town, telling you you are not enough, other people are not enough, and your circumstances are not enough, and you never will be.
So, what are ways that people can understand which ones they have, and what are strategies that we can use to help us overcome our various saboteurs?
Yes. So there is a saboteur assessment that you can take, and Jeremy, you've taken it.
Hmm.
And so you have the link you might want to put in the show notes for this episode so that people can take it and see. And it's a free assessment. The good news about all of this is that this is not carved in stone. You can make a decision to listen less to your pleaser, to listen less to your hyperachiever, to listen less to your hyper rational. And we do this with the help of the sage. Now, the sage has 5 different aspects. It allows us to navigate, to change, to activate, to look at our lives and what's going on without judgment, but with observation. When you are able to purely observe, this is not hyper rational, this is not judge, this is not, it's just the power of observation. You can start to calm the crazy town in your mind, and you can begin to do what is at the crux of PQ, positive intelligence, which is not react, but respond. When we react, we are acting out of saboteur behavior. When we respond, when we take 3 seconds and wait and figure it out, then we can respond with the wisdom and knowledge of the sage. And that is where life starts to make sense and get better, and we become present in the moment.
It's not easy. I can tell
No.
you, I know a number of years back, I was having a crisis in my life and I evaluated and I realized that some of my thoughts and feelings that I've had all my life were not good for me. And I had to give them up. And it was like dropping a childhood friend. Like these thoughts and
Yes.
behaviors had been a friend all my life, and I had to let them go. And there was a mourning period
Uh-huh.
once I let those things go. It's amazing how it was as devastating as losing a friend.
Yes. We are in our comfort zone when we stay with the saboteurs. And you're absolutely right. There is a period of grieving.
Are there any other steps people can take? I'm going to put the link in the
Mhm.
show notes. Are there any other steps or resources people can look for to learn more about this?
Yes. So obviously there's Shirzad's book, which you can find on Amazon. I teach a 6-week course on PQ where we go into a deep learning of PQ and also the sage. So you have the antidote to Crazy Town, right? Because that's what we're going for. And that really gives people the opportunity to explore where their particular saboteurs were formed and came from, and then begin to flip the script and begin to embrace sage thinking and behavior and wisdom.
I love it. All right. We need to start wrapping up. How can people reach out to you specifically?
This is really unusual, but this is the most important work of my life. So I'm going to give you my cell number. Do not call me, people. Do not call me. I have my ringer off, but text me. Tell me who you are and that you want PQ info. So it's 717-951-6049. It it works at any time of life, but mid-career and early career is a time where we are moving so fast that we don't give ourselves time to breathe. And we need to breathe, to take in the moment, to take in what's happening now, because at work we react out of our saboteurs. And in order for teams to be aligned, we need to get everybody to be responding from the sage perspective. That is where alignment comes from. Otherwise, we're just all triggered human beings trying to do the best we can.
That's how it feels some days. But I love that rather than just react, respond, which means make it measured and
Yes.
make it be a choice. And the last question I have for you is if there's one piece of communication advice that we can all benefit from, what would that be?
Communicate even when you think there isn't anything to communicate.
Wonderful. All right. This has been fantastic. You have helped all of us realize what we can do to lead more full, more happy lives.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for listening. If today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode with one person on your team who might benefit from it. And if you're leading a technical team and want to explore how these communication principles could work in your organization, visit www.neuroconversantleadership.com to learn more. And there you can reach out to schedule an appointment. I'd be happy to talk through what might be going on in your world. See you next week.